Hey there, welcome back. I'm Devan, and today I'm going to be reading to you something that I wrote. I had this idea because I've been sharing on this channel about my mental health journey and my husband Justin's mental health journey with his recent bipolar diagnosis. I've done some personal update ramble videos about those topics. I will link to those in the description in case you're interested. And in the last one of those, I mentioned that I have been writing and sharing some personal essays online about mental health topics and wellness topics. I had actually started doing that back over a year ago when I was in my wellness coaching studies, and I wanted to start writing and sharing about some of my thoughts and the things I was learning. And so I started a publication on the platform Substack, and my publication is called A Little Nervy. And so I'm going to start a series here on my YouTube channel where I read aloud to you essays from A Little Nervy. And the most recent ones have been more related to Justin's journey with bipolar and how that has affected our relationship. And then I also have some earlier essays about various wellness topics, including herbalism and digestion and the importance of rest and dealing with stress and burnout, and talking about my own journey of leaving my high pressure, high stress career in order to slow down and take care of myself. So if you are interested in hearing some of those essays, I just thought it would be cool to read them to you because I love doing read alouds on this channel, and I just thought it would be a way to share my words and my voice with all of you. And I will link to my Substack publication in case you would like to go and check it out and read any of the essays. But I thought this was a way that I could bring the essays to all of you because you've all been so supportive of me and my journey, and that this might be a neat way to bring these two elements of my creativity together. So for today, for this first little reading, this one will be a little more brief. I mean, the essays aren't super long, so these won't be super long videos. But what I wanted to read to you starting out is just a brief post that I wrote initially when I started the publication to explain why I chose the name A Little Nervy for my writings. So I'm going to be reading this to you from my iPad, straight from my Substack page. And again, I will link to that if you want to check it out in writing. But this is my first writing that I would like to share with you aloud. So this is called What Does a Little Nervy Mean? The paradox behind the title of this bold little publication. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. I've been a nervous person for as long as I can remember. As a child, when I'd get that churny sensation in my tummy and feel the swell of unknown dread that haunts me to this day, my mom would gently ask, "Are you okay? Are you feeling a little nervy?" That was what we called it. The ever-present undercurrent of anxiety that has been passed through my family for generations. I come from a long line of worriers and fixers, all very capable and compassionate and creative, and also nervy. Nervy, adjective, excitable, nervous. As I grew up and moved through life, I developed, as we all do, my own set of mechanisms and armors for protecting myself from the negative emotions that most consistently harassed me. For me, that emotion was a singular and ever-present fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of making mistakes and disappointing people, fear of not being good enough to be loved. Control seemed a promising strategy for combating that fear, as did achievement, people-pleasing, and perfectionism. But no matter how much I achieved or how perfect I appeared, my anxiety never went away. In fact, it got worse, because the more I achieved, the more I had to uphold, the more I had to make sure that I never disappointed anyone. I had to do it all and be exactly who everyone needed me to be and keep a smile on my face while I did it. This was a terrible and ineffective strategy for keeping the fear and nervousness at bay, but I couldn't seem to come up with anything better. So that pattern continued and escalated throughout my life until a few years ago when I hit an impenetrable wall of burnout that forced me to quit my job, stop running away from myself, and face up to all the emotions I had been burying away. Not being employed definitely made me a little nervy. But I knew something had to change in my life, and these last years have been a time of incredible evolution, digging deep into old patterns and limiting beliefs, facing all the different parts of who I am, and embracing each of those parts with tenderness and love. I love the word nervy because it has a double meaning. As in my family language, it can be a nickname for nervousness and anxiety. But if you look it up in the dictionary, it also means the opposite. It means brave and bold, as in someone with a lot of nerve. Merriam-Webster defines nervy as excitable, nervous, but also as bold, showing or expressive of calm courage. The Oxford English Dictionary defines it as brave and confident in a way that might offend other people, which really cracked me up since I've spent my whole life afraid that any way I appeared to be brave and confident might offend other people. As soon as I fully registered the paradoxical meaning of this word, I knew it was the perfect title for this publication. I want to be a little nervy, just a little bit brave, just a little bit bolder than I think I can be. We're not talking giant leaps or heroic acts. We're talking tiny daily steps, tiny erosions in the old solidified limitations, a gradual carving of new patterns and reactions. At the same time, it's okay to be a little nervy by my original definition. A little hesitant, a little cautious, a little safe. I don't need to eradicate that part of who I am. I just need to see it and nurture it so that it doesn't freak out and take over my life. These are the kinds of paradoxes I want to talk about here in these essays. The many elements of life that are not black and white, that cannot be neatly put into boxes. Nervy, adjective, expressive of calm courage. We are complex creatures. We can be many things at once. We can be scared and brave at the same time. In fact, I think that's the secret formula and the place where real magic can happen. Thank you for listening to my first reading in a new series of reading essays from my Substack publication, A Little Nervy. And the interesting thing is, I published this at the beginning of April 2022, and at that time I had no idea what was going to happen with Justin and his manic episode and his bipolar diagnosis and the many unforeseen challenges that have occurred over the last 5 months or so of my life. And looking back on this now, I'm very proud of myself for being a little nervy through all of it. I allowed myself to feel the feelings and be vulnerable, but I was also really brave and really strong and courageous and got through some really difficult things. So I'm glad that I started this publication back when I did, so that I now have it as a platform to share about this new part of my life, and it just really makes me happy to be able to share it with you. So thank you for listening, and I will be sharing more of these essays in the future. And in the meantime, if you would like to read more of my writings and musing and perspectives, you can check out the link in the description to A Little Nervy on Substack. So thanks for spending this time with me. Take good care, rest well, and I'll see you again soon.